Welcome back to another Explainer. We're jumping right in today with a really fascinating exploration of identity, culture, and what it actually means to create. Have you ever stopped to consider just how much weight a single name carries? Now, imagine if that one name belonged to not just one, but three wildly different creative minds. We're talking guys operating in entirely distinct artistic spheres across different regions using completely different mediums. Today, we're going to look at the name Liu Wei. By examining three specific artists who all share this exact same name, we are going to unpack how their unique environments and generational contexts shaped completely divergent artistic paths.
So what really is in a name? It's kind of a mystery, right? And it perfectly sets the stage for our explainer today. You see, when you hear the name Liu Wei, well, depending on the cultural circles you move in, you might picture a world-renowned sculptor who's constantly grappling with urban decay. Or you might instantly think of a super vibrant pop star and reality TV champion. Or perhaps your mind goes straight to an avant-garde classical composer weaving these intense socio-political themes into electronic rave sounds. They literally share the exact same name, but their creative universes, they could not be further apart. To unpack this, we'll follow a four-part agenda today: the urban sculptor, the pop entertainer, the resistance composer, and finally, divergent paths in art.
Let's start with Section 1, the urban sculptor. Liu Wei, born in 1972. Born in Beijing, this Liu Wei is a visual artist who is absolutely captivated by the rapidly changing cityscapes around him. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how he explores 21st century socio-political concepts, specifically the huge contradictions embedded in the massive transformation of developing cities. Since graduating from the National Academy of Fine Arts in Hangzhou back in 1996, his art has been a direct reflection of his environment. In his sculptural and installation works, he frequently uses found materials. He takes everyday urban scraps and recontextualizes them to draw out new meanings, relying heavily on geometric and architectural forms. It's like a giant mirror reflecting the sprawling, often chaotic urban surroundings he calls home. And this urban-focused commentary, it has resonated on a massive, global scale. His architectural installations have been showcased across some of the biggest museums worldwide. We're talking in the Venice Biennale, the Guggenheim Bilbao, the Foundation Louis Vuitton in Paris. His ability to capture the really complex transformation of the modern metropolis just strikes a universal chord with people everywhere. Moving on to Section 2. The pop entertainer, Julius Liu, born in 1986. Leaving the world of high-concept visual art behind, we are entering the fast-paced realm of mainstream pop. Born in Liaoning, China, Julius Liu's career trajectory is honestly fascinating. Right out of the gate in 2005, he absolutely dominated the competitive reality TV scene. He won the My Show Championship and the TVB Global Chinese New Talent Singing Competition. But what really sets him apart happened in 2006. He traveled to South Korea to train under the legendary producer J.Y. Park, becoming the very first Chinese trainee at the massive K-pop agency JYP Entertainment. Get this, he even had a young Hunya as a backup dancer during one of his early performances. No way, right? After learning the ropes in Korea, he successfully pivoted back to the Chinese market. He became a total staple on reality television, competing in major shows like Sing My Song in 2016, joining Mavis Fan's team with an original track, and Shine, Super Brothers in 2020. But Julius Liu didn't just stick to pop music. He expanded his reach into film and stage to build a really multifaceted career. He took on acting roles like playing Skinny in the Chinese version of High School Musical in 2010 and a role in the 2013 comedy One Night Surprise. On top of the whole acting thing, he is widely recognized for his voiceover work. Most notably, he provided the singing voice for Olaf in the official Chinese version of Disney's Frozen, specifically for the song In Summer. It's just a perfect example of a modern entertainer maximizing their versatility to stay relevant in a super competitive mainstream market. All right, on to Section 3, the resistance composer. Wei Liu, born in 1985. Our third creator is a Taiwanese avant-garde composer. To understand his intense socio-political world of modern classical music, we kind of have to look at the concepts driving it: heteroglossia and carnivalization. These are theories originally developed by the Russian literary critic Mikhail Bakhtin. Simply put, heteroglossia refers to the coexistence of multiple, often conflicting voices within a single work, and carnivalization? That's about subverting conventional, everyday norms through a chaotic, festive, almost overwhelming atmosphere. Wei Liu heavily applies these theories to his compositions, creating dense, multi-layered, and conflicting sounds that really challenge traditional aesthetic hierarchies. He achieves this clash of voices through a really interesting synthesis of seemingly opposite worlds. On one hand, you have the classical avant-garde framework, acoustic instruments like the traditional Chinese zong, complex a cappella mixed choirs, and rigorous structural arrangements. But on the other hand, you have a massive subculture influence drawn directly from his own lived experiences. He integrates elements of electronic dance music, the hard style of techno, rave culture, and themes surrounding entertainment drugs and LGBTQ identity. The goal isn't just to make noise, but to create what is known as tactile time. It's a physical, bodily sensation of music where rapid changes in sound density make listeners feel as though their muscles are suddenly contracting, almost mimicking an electric shock. His key works vividly reflect this objective of channeling raw energy into political and social commentary. In his 2018 piece Resistance for Solo Zong and Twisted Words, Heteroglossia 2, he uses compressed, screeching acoustic sounds to physically manifest the feeling of resistance and opposition. In Revelry, Heteroglossia 3, an a cappella choir is used to evoke bodily ecstasy and the boundary-crossing communion found in rave culture. And in Resistance 3, Cassandra and Light, a piece for 3 percussionists, he incorporates the specific soundscapes of Taiwanese society, like the ruckus of local temple festivals, grounding his abstract sounds in down-to-earth cultural realities. For Wei-Chik Liu, representing political beliefs and challenging social norms is a fundamental aesthetic requirement of his art.
Finally, Section 4, Divergent Paths in Art, Synthesizing the Three Creators. Okay, let's dive into this.
Having explored the visual artist, the pop entertainer, and the avant-garde composer, placing these three men side by side reveals some really stark contrasts. You have the sculptor born in 1972 whose primary medium is visual art, focusing heavily on the macro themes of urbanization and societal contradiction in developing cities. Then you have Julius Liu, born a generation later in 1986, working in pop music and television, whose core theme is all about versatility and mainstream entertainment, constantly adapting to the modern media landscape. And right next to him chronologically is Wei-Chi Liu, born in 1985, who utilizes the highly niche medium of avant-garde classical music to express themes of intense political resistance and subculture identity.
Which brings us to a really compelling final thoughts. How do our specific environments and lived experiences shape our creative identities? We've got 3 creators sharing the exact same name, yet their work could not be more distinct. Whether it's the physical transformation of Beijing, the competitive machinery of the Korean and Chinese pop industries, or the underground rave culture and political climate of Taiwan, it is the context that dictates the art. The medium and the message are entirely born of circumstance. Keep that in mind the next time you look at a piece of art or listen to a new song. What unseen environment shaped the voice you were experiencing right now? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep exploring the incredible world of creativity.